How are we there, guys? And welcome to another episode of the Smashing Crossbar Podcast. I'm your host, Josh, as always. Benny is back for one night only, so don't get too excited, guys. Benny, how are you, mate?
Not too bad, mate. It's been a while between drinks, eh?
Yes, mate, it has. It's been an absolute, it's been a long time, mate. But how could you pass this up? As you guys in the chat can possibly see, the guests tonight are star-studded. Let's be honest. You know, you've got the coach, we've got the captain, and the assistant coach with us as well. So, yeah, we're going to delve into a little bit of football, not too far away. Girls started off this weekend with a win against the Coast. Happy days.
They did.
Very good to see. So, one from one so far. For everyone in the chat, if you guys have any questions, whack them in there. We'll try and get through a few of them. But honestly, guys, today is to get down to the nitty-gritty. Obviously, you know, we're a week out from the men's competition getting underway. Trip to Perth Sunday night. So 7:45 kick-off our time. So, yeah, we'll talk a bit about that and how the boys obviously have gone through pre-season, how a few of the players have come out. There's a few players there with a few injuries and so forth, so we'll touch on that. And, everything in between. So, lads, very muchly appreciated for jumping on tonight. We've got Rob, we've got Demir, obviously the coaching staff, and the captain himself, Brendan Oneall. How are you guys? I'll let you go first, Rob.
Good, thanks. Happy to be here again. We're 16 weeks in and ready to go.
Yeah, absolutely. It's been a bit. We've had you on before. Obviously, we've got a good insight into what we can expect as from the fans' point of view. You know what you want to bring to the boys and obviously to the club. So it's fantastic. If you haven't seen it, go back and watch it. It was a great podcast and gives you a good insight into what we can hopefully see through the season. Demir, mate, we've first time actually meeting you. How have you settled in, buddy? Welcome to the club.
Yeah, thank you. Pleasure to be here. Very good, mate. It's been a smooth transition. Obviously living with Rob, it's been work non-stop, but it's enjoyable. It's a good group of lads. So far it's been brilliant and very excited to start round one this week. It's been a long pre-season.
Yeah, absolutely. Quickly, mate, just a bit in your background, mate. What are you bringing to the club?
Mate, firstly, here to support Rob and make sure that the boys, you know, I do my bit that I do to help out. Mate, I've been coaching in the State League the last sort of 12 to 14 months at Sutherland Sharks, so that was a good challenge. I'd spent 2 years at Macarthur Bulls, sort of with the NPL squad and also with the A-League team. So I've been around this level and I've been privileged enough to have Rob and a few other coaches at the top as, you know, really good mentors. So the transition for me has been quite smooth. Just here to support, do as best as we can and hopefully have a successful year.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon, obviously second season with us. How have you found the transition into the Newcastle system? Obviously you had different coaching staff last year, new coaches this year. How have you found it, lifestyle in Newcastle and obviously on the pitch as well?
Yeah, look, I think the biggest thing for myself personally is I know I'll be playing my best football if I'm enjoying the environment that I'm in, and this pre-season has been one where I've fully just enjoyed what I've done, and I think not only myself, but you can see the playing roster we have. The boys are enjoying training. They've enjoyed everything we've done, and that probably comes back down to the people looking after us in Robbo and D. I think from day one to day now, that's a funny thing. Day now, the expectation of the group has grown internally to a point now that we go into games very quietly, confident in winning the football match first and foremost, and we've proven in pre-season that we're blowing internally our expectations away, which is a really good sign. And for me, I've thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, half of me's not going to thoroughly enjoy this weekend, not being able to be in amongst it, but my job, I think, this week is to make sure everyone that walks out on the pitch round one is ready to go, and they give their best for not only us as a team, but for Newcastle in general, because I think the people at the club, both in the coaching staff and the boys, are well and truly engulfed in the Newcastle way of doing things.
Yeah, no, absolutely, well said. For those obviously who may have missed it, Brandon will miss out this weekend, round one, pick up a red card in the Australia Cup game against Brisbane, which I suppose when you think about it, I was there, it was a good game. And to see those guys get into the final and to think that it could have been us, I suppose. How did you take that, Rob? Because we were well and truly in that pretty much the whole match.
Yeah. Look at in reflection. Yeah, you look back and you think we were really competitive in that game, and considering that was really early in the piece as well, and the red card, it really tested us in terms that we had to play the extra time with 10 men, and I really thought we handled it quite well, which was a really good challenge. The double whammy, obviously, we lost Brandon by not going through because he would have been able to miss the game. So we copped it both sort of ways there. So I come out of that game very confident. I followed Brisbane quite a bit in their journey to the final, and they were actually quite good. They played some really good football. So that game was a really good test for us. And we actually played them again in pre-season, which was another good challenge as well. So the thing that it did allow us to do was allowed us to reset and actually go back and really periodise the program, because when you're in the cup, you're waiting for the next game, and because it's a competitive game, you're actually trying to get the players up to play a really competitive game. Whereas when you're in pre-season, you're actually periodising your team to prepare for round one, which means playing ahead with games, loadings and things like that when they need to be fully loaded or underloaded. So you get more of an opportunity to develop the individual and the team. So that was the benefit from it. The disappointing thing was for the fans to miss out on potentially an opportunity. So, but, since then we've played quite a few games as well. And, upon reflection of those games, I feel really, really pleased with the progression the team's made, and the staff together has been really, really good. So, I think we sit in a really good space leading into round one.
Yeah. Demir, obviously, you guys played, was it MacArthur the other day? That was the last one he's played.
Wanderers.
Wanderers. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. It was meant to be over 3 quarters, I read. How was that for you guys? How did that turn out? How did the game go for the ones that didn't make it, the fans?
It was look, we've been starting pretty much all of our games very at a very high intensity, very high tempo.
Yeah.
We've been building principles the whole pre-season, just trying to improve on what we need to improve on.
Yep.
It was a good test. Obviously, Rob and the club's organised a lot of games against A-League opposition to really see where we're at.
Yep.
And the signs have just been positive, and we're all very optimistic about the season.
Yeah, absolutely. Plenty of fitness in, I guess, as well, and plenty of minutes in a lot of the legs as well. So good. It's good to see. A game, even that's sort of been lacking in the past from a fan's point of view. Plenty of games and stuff like that. It's good. It's good to see.
We had a lot of games, and we've just added a really in-depth gym program as well for the players to make them more durable, stronger, resilient, to be able to play that type of football we want to play, which is intense and sort of on the front foot, trying to, want to go to goal as quickly as we can. We control that moment. Obviously, that uses a lot of energy, and you need to prepare really well for that. So the signs are there could be very, very exciting, but we're going to learn maybe at times the hard way the balance of exciting football and disciplined football, and in a mature team, which I think will come in time. But so far, it's been really exciting in the way we've approached games and sort of got on the front foot really early. And it's some really positive signs.
Yeah, absolutely. Benny, I'm going to sort of drag you in this because I know you've said this for a long time, and considering we've got the man here, it's no secret Benny has pretty much come out and stated on many a podcast, Brandon, that you have been one of the most underrated players in the A-League in many years. Just
I'll pay you later, Ben.
Been saying that while was saying that the entire time you were at Sydney.
Absolutely, yeah. It was like every time, as soon as like a transfer was coming about, or he was possibly looking at leaving, he's come to the Jets. Got to get him to the Jets. Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, 100%.
What can we see this year, mate? Obviously, we've seen snippets of it last year. It was definitely there, the talent and the drive to get towards goal. But with Rob, definitely, as you just said, wanting to get to goal quick. What can we see from you this year, mate? Especially being the captain.
Yeah, I think, well, first and foremost, as much as that question was aimed at me, I think number one, what excites me the most is obviously you're only as good as the players that you play around.
Yeah.
And the one thing I can say about the group this year is that we've got quality evenly spread around the pitch. And I think that's a credit to Rob and Dee and the coaching staff, in which from day one till now, I think you'd probably struggle to name a bad player in pre-season from the amount of growth that we've done. And I think internally, especially inside the dressing room this year, our mantra's been that the team's first. And whether you need me here, there and everywhere, as well as any other player on the pitch, I think you'll be able to see that week in, week out from the boys. Touching back on myself, I think, last year, positionally, I was kind of the defensive midfielder of the team. So my job was much more in and around our box, making sure I'm cleaning up as much mess as I could, and then trying to start the play again from there. This year, and obviously working with Rob at Sydney, it's a system I love. It's a system that I can help people as well as Rob and Dee is doing, trying to get the best out of themselves, because it's a very disciplined way of playing football. But like Rob and Dee touched on, it's exciting, especially when we get going. And I've already found myself a hell of a lot further forward this year in linking up play in and around the opposition box, getting a few shots off and a few assists in pre-season. So that's just a byproduct of the football we're playing, and long may that go into the start of the season. But like I said, I just want to reiterate, I think the sign of everyone doing well this year will be not the individual, but how we're going as a collective. And it's exciting to play with the boys of the team at the minute.
Yeah, absolutely. Well said, mate. Benny, how's the chat going? Any questions in there from anybody before I get on to the next one?
Yeah, there's a few. What have we got here? Luke's got quite a good one, and that is, what role will Jason play in the midfield this season?
He'll be in goal. Jason Hoff.
For your, I'll assume that's Jason Berthameyer.
Yeah.
Jace will play in the Sixers, I think. I think two reasons. When I looked at Jace and I look at a foreign player, it's either to bring in that will add a professional mindset to the team, which will help the team grow. The other one, if I bring a foreigner, would be to excite the fans and be that attacking weapon. I think Jace is more about the professional side of it, but we are seeing areas of his game that might excite the fans as well. He's just a real professional. He moves well around the park. Distribution's great, and he's given us that balance. And I think as the season goes on, he'll be a really important player as Brandon and Groz and also Cal, the defensive midfield players. Those guys are really important. So I see him in that role, in one of the two there. And so far he's fitted in really, really well. But also is a great role model for a lot of the younger players in all that years of experience that he's accumulated, passing that on in the way he prepares, the way he plays. And yeah, he's been very good since he's moved here. He's settled in really quickly, and surprisingly, which was a concern, always a concern, is how will he fit in and how will he settle? He's just done that so quick. I was really surprised. I think the players have really helped him as well, Brandon, and I know some of the older boys, Hoffy and all the guys, have made it smooth. But he's made a really big effort to integrate himself and his family really quickly into the community, and that's enabled him to settle quick and start on the front foot straight away.
Absolutely. Beautiful. Any more, Benny?
We've got, how's Reno looking for the upcoming season? Has he overcome his injuries?
Again, a bit like Archie, they're really odd cases, Archie and Reno. So they're not, they're ongoing issues that we're trying to solve. And they've been quite difficult to bring them to be able to solve the problems for them. So the players themselves, I think, are quite frustrated that it's taken so long. So we've sort of adapted and changed the approach for both players a little bit, and we're starting to get a bit more reward from that. So Reno, I'm hoping Reno in the next month. We're hoping to see him again, a bit similar to Archie. So I think Archie might have just gone a bit ahead of him in his return to play. But if Reno gets cracking quickly, he could happen really fast for him as well. So we desperately want him on the pitch, because I think, as I mentioned earlier, there are two players that will excite the fans and just give us that cutting edge when we need it in the front third there. Reno is creative and entertaining, and Archie, we saw even in the first game when he come on in the cup, my gut feeling was he was going to score straight away. I just knew that game was made for him, and I see Archie doing that quite a bit when we get him on the pitch. So, but yeah, it's exciting to have him back. But yeah, Reno, fingers crossed. Next 4 weeks, I'm hoping he'll be back just after the window. Earlier if we're lucky.
Yeah. And likely with obviously Archie as well, you were saying as well, sort of around that.
Yeah, Archie, very similar. Archie's more of a, if you ask Archie to play tomorrow, he would get on and play, and he might be okay, but if we don't do it a certain way that they've asked us to do, the specialist, to sort of prepare him and do it well, it's an odd thing where it could just break down out of nothing. So we're designing a new plan for him for his return to play, a bit more, trying to get him ready for at least 20, 30 minutes sort of area. So instead of trying to prepare him for a 90-minute game or a 45 minutes, trying to get him up and then get him on the pitch so we can get him started and then see how he recovers and see what issues he has. Fingers crossed. The good thing for Archie, he's only 18. I think everyone sort of forgets that, and mate, he's got so much football ahead of him, but I just want to make sure that get to see that. So pretty excited from what I've seen from him when he has been training and playing. He's can't wait to get him on there, and it's just going to add so much to the team. So I know the fans want him there, and all the staff and players, and he's an incredible kid for such a young kid. He's got one of those infectious personalities, and mate, if you tell him to play tomorrow, he'll play. And that's the scary thing. He'll put himself out there regardless of what the consequences are. He's just that type of kid.
Absolutely. I think that's
top
definitely...
He's going to go more down the Nicky Carl route and less down the Ben Kanarowski route.
Well, we want him down the one that's going to get him playing as long as he can for Newcastle, and as much as he can. So I just got to make sure that I can understand. Once you see and the issues he's had, you can't understand why people get frustrated, but it's kind of hard to explain. It's just an issue that you have to do it a certain way, and if we don't get it right, lose him and not have him play. So that's not something that sits well with me if I don't get him on the pitch and I injure him because I was impatient or I allowed his youthfulness to convince me he's ready to go, when I need to listen to other people that know a little bit more on the situation for him. So, but he will play. I'm more than confident that when he gets on, you'll see him regular. So I'm excited, mate. I think the plan was to help him because the way we're playing suits him. The system really is going to suit Archie. You can see that. And you can see how Stammer in the pre-season and Trent have combined well. Archie and young Vidic, when he grows a bit more and learns a bit more, mate, we've got some really good talent, and a couple coming through as well.
Absolutely.
Exciting times.
Elliot's got a good one here. He's got in here, quick question. Any headache selections and any tips on how to pick a squad?
You know what? That's a really good question because last week, mate, it kept me up a few nights thinking about who I'm going to leave out. Sort of few things made my decision in the last 24 hours. And that was really hard because the team's been doing so well as a group, collective. No one really deserves to miss out. Unfortunately, for some decisions, we're going to make some tough calls that obviously players won't be happy with. Brendan's obviously a forced one, but there's a couple there I've just decided that maybe we need to go a certain way. I want to take probably my most experienced group of players there for the first game, and there's a couple there maybe just not ready. They maybe haven't accumulated enough minutes and things like that. But there's a couple of tough questions there, and sort of I've got in my head what I want to do. But that's a really tough one, to be honest. It's like the worst part. You can't fit 11 in or 18 into 26. So when you got to make those calls, it's it's difficult, and as a player, it's you don't like to separate the group, but all the away games you have to do it. So unfortunately, that's the worst part of the job, from what I can gather.
Yeah, I suppose it even goes reverse as well. Like I've been in that situation where I've played up a few years and so forth. So you put in the situation where Brendan's out this week, someone's going to jump in there and have a crack, and he does really well. His job is to take his spot. You know what I mean? Like at the end of the day, he's the captain.
It's another headache.
But then it's a headache next week. If he performs really, really well, how do you leave him? Sort of, it's such a pain in the backside. And I'm glad you've got the job, mate.
It is, and the thing about the A-League is the problems you have is trying to keep everyone at the same level when not everyone's playing, and we have to be really creative with some of your training, and because you want to make it as real as to the game as you possibly can. And if you're just running players, it's boring, and you have to maximise your time with the players, develop them, but at the same time, you're trying to get every player match fit or ready to play, because at any given time, things change really quickly, and players have to start. And if they're not in the best preparation or haven't enough minutes, and they go out and they play and they don't perform, and it's really unfair on that player because they haven't had the ability to prepare, because the games haven't been there once the season starts. So it's a tough one. You really have to work closely. It's more important to work with as much with the players that aren't playing as with the players that are playing, because the ones that are playing, they're happy, fit. It's the ones that aren't, that might be unhappy and aren't in the full match conditioning, and you've got to try and get them in the best shape mentally as well and physically, so when they get their chance, they can hit the ground running and make a really positive impression. So we put a lot into the players, as much or if not more into the ones that aren't in the team, because just as important when they're called upon, and at some stage they will be in the team and someone else will be out of the team. So it's a tough one, but that's where you really have to work hard.
Absolutely. To me, I'm going to put one on you, mate. Obviously put you in the hot seat and sweat for a little bit. Obviously, I'm sure you guys have watched plenty of footage in the off-season of the teams you guys are going to come up against. You look at the Central Coast, dominating in, the Asian Cup, that 9-0 performance or whatever it is, and things like that. Is there a team for yourself that, you're sort of, they've impressed in the off-season?
So far, the teams that we've played against, I think all of the teams have possessed, certain qualities that have, challenged us in every way. I think all of the teams on their day, can hurt us, and vice versa. I think we can hurt teams if we turn up with the right attitude and the boys are in top condition and all available. So far it's in pre-season, it's just been building blocks. Trying to improve every week. It's sort of. Pre-season is a hard one because coaches are trying to give their players as much minutes as possible. So the squads do rotate, especially towards the end of the game. But look, certainly every single game we've played, it's been challenging, but also really good for us because it's been A-League opposition. So it's given us a good chance to really see where we're at.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Even the fixture, like going through the fixture the other day. we've been pretty lucky. I mean, I think in just going through it, we don't really have a great deal of time on the road. You know what I mean? I think there's pretty much only 2 blocks where we're playing, in 2 weeks away. Everything else is sort of pretty much home away. So that's got to be decent as well, I suppose. Not being away for long periods. But yeah, Perth away. We may as well quickly touch on that. Over to Perth. When are you guys looking to head over there? How are you going to do it this year? Every coach, I suppose, is different. Some like to get in, get out, or some like to take a day or two in there and relax.
I've been used to getting in and playing and pretty much getting out the morning after. But we're actually going to go on Friday, so we'll train and travel, and then we'll do a proper training day the following day. So that seems to work well for the boys here in the past. So we'll stick with that because they've done it before, so they know the routine, the process, and so we'll stick with that. And then we'll have a day's training, let the boys adapt and get used to being in Perth with a little bit of time difference, which will help. and then play on the Sunday. So it'll be a good trip. It's similar to what we did when we went to Darwin a day before, had a training session, and that worked well there. So I'm happy with that, and I think we'll do the same with, when we go to Wellington as well. So bit different to what I've been used to, but if that's what works for the group, that's the most important thing. So
absolutely.
It should be an exciting trip. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you reckon, Ben? Obviously, Perth bogey team for us. I hate playing Perth.
You know what? Perth away from anyone on the Eastern Seaboard is a difficult game.
Absolutely.
Put it first up, that's even worse. But glad that it's happening now because you put that mid-season, it upsets the balance a lot, especially if it's around that Christmas New Year period.
Yeah. I was wrapped as soon as I seen Perth for round 1. I was like, happy days. Just knock it out of the way. And
Perth away is one of the ones I haven't done yet. That I wanted to do. So that's on the back burner for another 12 months.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was pretty hard to sort of get tickets. It's a great one though. We'll have to do it again. It was a good one. But personally, I think it's a good time to get them. You know what I mean? They're in limbo sort of thing with owners and everything as well. And obviously they've announced their captaincy and stuff like that. But I think it's a good time to go and get them and knock them off early. So yeah. Brandon, mate, we're going to slowly wrap it up. So guys, if there's any quick questions you just want to get in there, I'm just going to rattle off with some.
Get them in.
Hey?
Get them in.
Oh yeah. Just some humorous ones, bit of a laugh, bit of to end the sort of. Who are you bunking with, mate? Have you got a roomie yet, mate, for away days?
Oh, I'd bunk with anyone. To be fair, to be fair though, when we've bunked away recently, any of the young lads, I think probably the nicest thing about when I was their age, 18, 19, 20, was as uncomfortable as it was for myself to be rooming with, say, one of the senior lads. It was probably the best thing that could have done for me, because if you're brave enough to get chatting to them on a one-to-one basis over a cup of tea, watching a bit of telly, then it only brings you closer. And I think we've been quite good at that this year, from the eldest, Jason Hoffman, to the youngest in the team, Clayton Oliver, and we've kind of all brought everyone to a middle standing, and everyone's on the same par, which is again led by our coaching staff. So yeah, any of the young ones have a cup of tea, and maybe not a bicky before the game, but a cup of tea, and we watch telly and have a good chat about life.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. As a player, and as a young player, it's got to be up there. Just trying to getting to pick the brain of one of the senior guys who's been there, done it, and seen plenty. And yeah, it's got to be a good thing. Serial pest, mate. Who's the serial pest of the team?
Serial pest, well,
That's easy.
I was after talk. I felt so sorry for him because I outed him in front of our whole at our season launch. Out of the women's team was there, all our players were there, all our sponsors were there, and it was like word vomit. It was like Daning him straight away. And then I looked at him, bless him, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, mate." But to be fair, he's one that he'll say it himself. He's the serial pest, but he always takes a laugh to it. He doesn't take anything for full stop.
Yeah.
I'm sure Rob can tell you more than I can. He's he's a laugh any day now, Robert.
He gives me a bit of stick in a funny way, and At first, I thought he can't be serious, but that's just Dane. But I think Daniel Wilmering has
he's up there.
He's challenging really, really well for Serial Pest. Yeah, he's been really good as well, Daniel Wilmering. So they got different personalities and works with the group. So at times I can see they want to strangle him, but funny guys. They're really good in the change room. So
what can I say? It's just a fullback thing. I was no different.
You were a pain.
And Wilms is funny, mate. He's different. He's very different.
Yeah. I was going to say to you then. Obviously, your pre-game. We've heard some classic pre-game rituals and so forth over the years of doing this podcast and ex-Jets plays and that. What about yourself, mate? Is there anything that sort of stands out? Anything basic that you got to do, or?
To be fair, I used to be so anal about it. It was like every minute on the minute I'd be doing this, moving on to this, making sure my shoelaces are a certain length here and this, that. And I guess the joy of growing up and having a daughter is that all goes out the window because you need to look after someone more important than yourself. And now it's just making sure that, from a Monday to a Saturday, if you play on a Sunday, the work's done. You make sure your body's in the best possible shape, your head's in the best possible shape, and the best thing again about being a parent is you get a cuddle and a kiss on their way out. And whether you win, lose or draw, you look yourself in the mirror and you can say, did I control what was inside of me? Control. If the answer is yes, then you can go home. And my little one doesn't remember if you won or lost. You're just dad to her. So I used to be a stickler, and Rob's probably he probably seen me at Sydney, and where I am now, it's probably just a part and parcel of growing up and moving on in the next stage of life. But it certainly doesn't mean that I don't take my process seriously from a Monday to a Saturday. And it's probably the worst thing as a player you can do is looking back after a game going, I wish I could have done this or I wish I could have done that. And you just make sure you tick everything you need to do off. You give your loved ones a kiss and you have a crack.
Yeah. No, very good, mate. Very good. What's on Spotify? Obviously, you're surrounded by girls, so this could be interesting.
God, where do we start? Baby Shark, the Wig, anything and everything. Blues Clues, the works at the minute. But when it's I to and fro. I don't mind an Irish tune every now and then to get me on. And I'm a bit of a country man. I like Luke Combs, and Jenks and Steinsy are fans of that as well. So, and Ed Sheeran, just a nice chill mellow out. But to be fair, 95% of the time it's YouTube and it's Blues Clues, The Wiggles, Miss Rachel, you name it, it's on.
We might go around. That's good. What about yourself, Rob? Have you got anything that you do, sort of thing, or anything on the iPad? Or?
I'm actually more relaxed now than I was when I was assisting, and would you believe? So, I think all the staff are pretty down pack what they're doing. So there's a period there where I get to just sit and just quiet space when they go out, and I use that time. I remember when I was at Sydney and I was a youth team coach, I used to sit in the change room when Graham was there. Everyone would go out, and it was an opportunity to sit and just have a chat about things when he was by himself. So it was actually a really good time, and I find myself now that same position, but generally when I'm by myself, just be calm, to be honest. Everyone's made me quite calm because everyone's sort of on point. So, nothing special at the moment.
Very good.
With music or anything, to be honest. I'm just calm and just checklist make sure we've ticked all the boxes and ready to go. And it's sort of the players' time, so I want them to be their time to go out and perform. It's there. So I'm like being okay. Maybe that's going to change. We'll see. If you see my demeanour change, you'll say he's changing. So I'll see how I go. But at the moment in pre-season, it's been quite really good.
No, very good. We'll finish on that one with you, Demir. Anything for you, mate? Obviously, first.
Mate, I'm not going to lie. I do rate my jog along honeysuckle, mate, and a coffee before we leave. So, that's sort of been a good, consistent pattern for me, mate, just a jog and a coffee. And if I can sneak a second one with Robbie on the way, try convince him.
Very good, very good. Anything in there, Ben, before we wrap up the last couple of quick ones I've got?
Yeah, there's a couple of good ones. A few people have chimed in with the same thing. For you, Brandon, can we expect a couple more goals like the one that you did against MacArthur last season?
When I
sit there as a follower of yours for a long time going, that's how he only scores goals.
Yeah, I was going to say.
They're all like that. They're all bombs.
Yeah.
Is that when I shut my eyes and hope for the best? Is that the one?
Yeah.
Is it, yeah.
It's just like that cheeky look, and you look down and you go, nah, screw it. I got, 4 or 5 yards on this.
Well, look, again, coming back to the way we're playing, I'm definitely higher up, and we're definitely playing in their box a hell of a lot more. And it's something definitely that comes naturally in the system of play that we're able to play. Here in Newcastle this year, you're closer to goal, and I think the one thing as well is, I've got a lot of responsibility within the team, and I really enjoy that because I get to help, and first and foremost, looking around the team and making sure that, the young lads keep going the way they're going, the older lads keep going the way they're going. Everyone's united on that front. But yeah, personally as well, I'll definitely have a chance this year to get a few more goals and a few more assists, and please God, a few more rockets like that would be all right. But I'd take anybody scoring and anybody assisting to make sure that we win football games and we we get to the most important game of the year.
Absolutely. Anything else, Benny?
Another one here for Brandon. Do you have a message for the fans for the season?
Number one, I think you'll see no difference or no divide between someone sitting there watching the game, paying their hard-earned money, to the players that are out there playing week in, week out for you. I think it's been just so lovely to be a part of the team that, number one, work so hard each day, but number two are just normal lads that would pay their own money to make sure they go and watch a team from Newcastle having a crack. So I think that'll be the minimum this year, where people can sit there and actually feel very part of it, because you've got Newcastle type people, whether it's an one or whether it's a Jace that's just come from France. Everyone lives and breathes the Newcastle way here, and they play accordingly. And number two, I think they've got to enjoy the ride this year. I think from the start of the season to the end of the season, I think you're going to see a massive outpour of a lot of talented blokes, whether it's from in the team or in the coaching staff to everyone involved in the setup on a match day. I think you're going to see a lot of cool talent out there, and you just want to be involved. You want to be involved in the ride. You want to, enjoy it. And I think if you're there each weekend, you're going to see ripper blokes that get you off your seat. And ultimately, our aim is to win football matches and get to that final game of the season. So make sure you're there to enjoy the ride.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So pretty much, I've just got a couple of two very quick ones for all of you. The first one is Mount Rushmore. Obviously, I love this. I heard this on a podcast the other week. Your Mount Rushmore, three footballers that you would have in your Mount Rushmore. Who would they be? We'll start with the coach. Past, present, whatever, doesn't matter.
As a kid, I liked Lothar Matthäus. I thought he was just complete player. So he would be one. Yep. Zidane was an extraordinary player. Obviously, I go back to the original. You can't go past, obviously, Diego as well. And the other legend, Pelé, I think, for me. They were the ones for me.
Oh, beautiful. Demir?
Mate, I'll have to say Johan Cruyff's one. I enjoyed watching his videos.
Yep.
I'd say Zidane, definitely, 100%. And the third one, I'd say Messi. I had the privilege to watch him play 4 times live, and it was a very nice experience. So yeah, definitely Messi.
Yep. Brendan.
For me, number 1, Paul Scholes, just a genius. Number 2, Roy Keane, probably the opposite to a genius, just an absolute nutcase, but the general of the park. And then in probably more recent terms, you mould both of them players together, and you probably get N'Golo Kante, and he was able to do it in both attack and defence. So as a midfielder, watching them 3, it's pretty good.
What about yourself, Benny? Who's 3 that you'd put in there?
First one would have to be Trevor Francis.
All right.
Oh, good one.
God, you know most of them are going to be Birmingham players, Josh.
Yeah.
Second one would probably be Roberto Carlos.
Oh, stuck it in. Yeah.
And the third one would have to be the Northern Irish man himself, Mike Taylor.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, mine.
Weapon of a keeper.
I'd put Roberto Carlos in there for mine. Absolutely, just a weapon. Luis Figo for me would go in there as well. He was a genius. He was just so good.
Your Portuguese is showing, Josh.
Yeah, I know, but he's a talent. He's a talent. He's so good to watch at Madrid. And I think Roberto Baggio for me. I'd put him in there as well. Another good one. So that's pretty much it. Feel free in the chat if you want to whack yours in there. That'd be, we'll read them and so forth as well. Other than that, we're going to wrap it up. We do thank you guys all for jumping on and giving up your time. Last one from me, as I said, guys, Brendan touched on it. The support and fans and stuff like that. There's no secret that Terrace Nova Castro have had a massive riff over the last 12 months and so forth from a supporter group. I strongly encourage everybody to get in there at some point. Doesn't matter whether you've got a season ticket over the other side or whatever it is, or you've been in the same seat for whatever 15, 20 years or whatever it is. At least try and get in there at the start of the match or at the last 5 minutes or something like that, because they need a lot of help. There's no secret. They're a young, pretty much run by a lot of young boys, 18, 19 and so forth, and they need a lot of help. I think as well, me sitting here, I think the club as a whole needs to help them as well. From Shane, from the top down to the players as well. You know what I mean? Obviously, the players can do that by performing and just getting over to them to celebrate and afterwards. You know what I mean? After games and so forth, and the coaching staff will do that by winning as well. But yeah, I honestly, it's just something that's come to me the other day that we haven't really touched on it enough. But yeah, get to games, get to games, get your membership sorted. I think we're up around that 7,000 mark at the moment from what I was told, which is great. You know what I mean? So
That's good.
yeah. So yeah, get to the games, get to the girls. There was a good crowd at the girls on the weekend as well. But yeah, just get behind the Jets this year, guys. It's going to be a good one. Go back through the videos. 2018, I said it from day one, from the first episode, that I had a good feeling that we'd have a good crack, and we did. We ended up getting there. Unfortunately, didn't go away. But this year, I feel the same way. So yeah, I think we're going to have a good year. So as a fan, get in there, pay your membership, support the boys and the girls, and get to as many games as you can, home and away. Other than that, guys, good luck for the season.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Josh.
Stuff. Yeah, no, well done. And, mate, continue. And Brandon, obviously, enjoy, unfortunately, sitting down watching this one from the sideline, mate. But as of next week, the week after, rip in and hopefully you can lead the boys to success and lift, as you said, lift the big one at the end. And, hopefully we'll speak to you through the year at some point.
Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it, man.
No worries, guys. Enjoy.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks very much.
No worries. As I said, guys, we thank them for jumping on. It is muchly appreciated for giving up their time. Wednesday, I will be chatting to the GOAT himself, Jason Hoffman. Sit down. It's going to be a cracker. Let's be honest. There's no question about that. He's a legend of the club, one of the best. Give me 1 sec. I'm just going to fiddle with these. There we go. I'll just cut you out for a moment, Benny, because it's just not yeah. We're wrapping up anyway. Because I knew as soon as they wanted them to go, would be it. Yeah, so we're going to chat with the GOAT on Wednesday. It's going to be, I'm going to do it live. It's going to be at 10 a.m. in the morning, so everyone will be at work and all that sort of stuff. But it'll be,
I don't watch it at work.
Yeah, it's it. So if you've got the chance to,
I'm back at work Wednesday.
Listen into it, and if not, you feel free to go back, watch it back. I've got to work that night, so I just won't be able to edit it. So it's just going to be easy to go live. If you've got any questions for him as well, feel free, whack him in the chat, send me a message, send Crossbar Capers a message as well, and we'll try and get them answered. But yeah, honestly, it's going to be a good year, guys. Honestly, I feel that it's going to be a lot better than last year. There's no question about that. But yeah, the boys are going to have a good crack this year. You can just pardon me, even just sort of get. Yeah, just get into, like, you know, that obviously I'm sure there's plenty that went to the fan day and everything else, and you can just sort of tell the boys are around each other. They're solid. They're a group, and
there's echoes of pre-2018 again.
Absolutely. It's a good feeling, and anyone's beatable, I think, this year. You know what I mean? There's definitely a lot of players that have come into the A-League from a lot of clubs that are definitely good players. But at the same time, you know, it's interesting. You know what I mean? It's going to be some shake-ups. There's going to be some interesting score lines, I think, this year. I think we're going to see some interesting ones. Some, you know, can't believe that happened, and, you know, some absolute blowouts. You know, maybe some big scores as well. You know, there's no secret about that. Melbourne ain't going to be the team they were last year, and, you know, I think they're going to come out firing this year. So, yeah. Other than that, yeah, Benny, welcome again. Thanks for coming back, mate.
It's a pleasure, mate. I mean, I suppose we're all getting ready to give Panya shit.
Panya, yeah.
Is that where we're at?
Oh, mate, freaking Western. It's going to be an interesting one. Obviously, you've got Panya, you've got Gus there. You know, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be an interesting
season. 2.0.
Yeah, absolutely. It's going to be an interesting season. I haven't really got too much in the chat, unfortunately. My chat shit itself, so that's why Ben's been all over that. But I want to just thank everyone who's in the chat, whoever's in here. I do appreciate it. I've come up with an idea while everyone's quickly here before we go. Now, I've come up with an idea. It's one of my best, so, you know. And it sort of hit me a couple of months, you know, about a month ago in friggin' obviously the end of season finished up, and there was a lot of Mad Mondays and all that sort of stuff. And I was like, you know what? You know, it'd be good if we could sort of organise something from the start of the year for each player, and throughout the year, I want people to come to the podcast and jump on and give an idea of what you would like to see one of the players wear. And I want to I'll compile it, and I'll give it to the club and so forth. I think it'd be an absolute pisser. You know, just watching some of you guys. You know, Hoffman. Could you imagine Hoffman in like friggin' like a Mario or Luigi friggin' outfit, like just something random. You know, get him dress up as a goat. Like
yeah.
Could you imagine? He could dress up as a goat, and then you could get one.
I think your Mario and Luigi should be Daningham and Daniel Wilmering.
Yeah, but just something random. At the end of the day, you know, the boys they like it, they enjoy it, they go all out, so they're going to buy ridiculous stuff, and, you know, just a bit of a piss take, get the fans involved in that, and sort of sit back and go, oh yes, he did wear it, what a legend. You know, it'd be just so funny, right? Jason Hoffman dressing up as a goat, and freaking Lucas Moragas dressing up as the bloke from Jim's Mowing. And just walking behind him. Just mowing his grass.
No, I'd like to see Lucas Moragas in a giraffe outfit.
A giraffe outfit. But yeah, let us know your thoughts. It come to me the other month, and I was like, fuck, that'd be so funny. How cool to be. Just it sort of gives a bit of a fan engagement and so forth. And yeah, so. Anyway, on that note, as we touched on before, big shout out to Australian football fans. The women's women's season kicked off on the weekend. Massive numbers, which is great to see. May it continue throughout the whole season, because, you know, at the end of the day, if it's anything like the friggin' Jets, fans of old and so forth, they sort of die off, and it's good at the start, and then they sort of die off. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Hopefully the numbers are there. But as I said, I strongly mean it, guys. Get into the Bay 2. I think they're in at the moment, and so forth. And as I said, I'm not expecting you guys to go in there and spend 90 minutes there. I feel that Terrace need to sort of come up with something, even just for the first 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Even just never tear us apart. Getting as many people in there just to do it, and then everyone walk back to their seats. So maybe do it a bit earlier than kick off. You know what I mean? Like get them to play like, you know, 2 or 3 minutes or something before they walk out, and that way everyone's got a sort of time to sort of get back to their seats and something like that. Because, you know, at the end of the day, everyone wants to be sitting down when the kick-off is or whatever. But yeah, just something like that, I think it'd just be good. You know, it needs a lot of help. And as I said, the boys that are running it are doing a good job. They're trying their best and everything else, but it's not going to succeed and it's not going to improve unless everyone else gets in and does their bit to help it. Because, you know, you can't have a supporter base without fans, and, you know, let's get in and support it. You know what I mean? It's going to be a good year and the players need it, and you definitely seen the shift, you know what I mean, last year between players not wanting to come over and having the shits, and or, you know, everyone not sort of on the same page. You've heard it here from the captain's mouth. Everyone's on the same page. Everyone's excited. Everyone is keen and so forth. So let's embrace that. Let's enjoy it, and show them that we're keen, I guess, is the biggest message there. So anyway, it was a pleasure having you on, Benny.
It's always a pleasure to come back, mate.
We'll try and get Benny on more often. You know what I mean? As I said, he's just moved house, and so forth. So taking a few weeks to sort himself out and get on top of everything. He's slowly.
I've taken an hour away from unpacking boxes.
He's slowly starting to try and creep back into the streaming realm now that FIFA. Not FIFA. EAFC. Yeah, has come out.
Yeah,
and
I've
so
done my
forth.
fair share of playing it.
Yeah, so big shout out to everyone who's jumped in. If you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel or jumped onto a Twitter or Facebook or Switch and so forth, be sure to do so. It's muchly appreciated. Big shout out to Gabriel Mark, optometrist. It was so short notice and everything else with Brendan coming on. I totally forgot about that. But yeah, big shout out to Gabriel Mark, optometrist at Jasmine for all your eye care needs. Be sure to go see those guys. Kathy Cafe, top of town for all your coffees and brekkies and stuff like that. If you're a Liverpool fan, 21st next weekend, big one, Merseyside derby, 10:30 kickoff, early one. We will be at the Hamilton Station Hotel. Get there. We want that place packed. Whether you're a Reds fan or not, come down. It's an early kickoff, which is fantastic. It's a great venue to watch football at, and more the merrier. So yeah, don't feel, we accept everybody, even if you're a sad sap with an Everton shirt on. You're more than welcome. Maybe bring a group of your friends, just so you don't sort of feel isolated. But we definitely welcome everybody to come down and watch the football, male, female, and so forth. So yeah, get into it. Other than that, guys, we will catch you guys on Wednesday. Or I will catch you on Wednesday. Benny won't be. You're going to be working hard. I'll catch you on Wednesday morning with Hoffy. And other than that, if I don't speak to you beforehand, yeah, enjoy your football on the weekend. Obviously, the start of the A-League season. The Jets on Sunday, as I said, 7:45. And if you're going over to Perth, get loud. Let us hear you and
Get rowdy.
Get us home. Get us home round one, and we'll get the season underway with a good win. So, anyway, guys, take it easy. We'll catch you guys next time on the next episode. And as always, I think I've got it here somewhere for Benny's enjoyment. Maybe. Oh.
No, not that one.
No, not that one. That was the wrong bloody button. Don't mind me. Go back, you goose. There we go, dickhead. Hang on. He's gone. There it is. We hate Coast Scum. There it is. Take it easy, guys. We'll catch you guys next time. Enjoy your football, as I said. Catch you later. See ya.